All right, we're ready to get started. I gotta apologize. It'll probably take us a couple of times to get the process all nice and smooth and ironed out. But we want to welcome you tonight to our second episode of Chika and Christy Live. And tonight we have a really terrific topic to talk about. It's sort of the place where everybody needs to start. And but first, let me introduce my co-host here with Chika and Christy Live. Chika, how are you doing tonight?
I'm doing great, Christy. Thanks for, of course, doing this, being here, and yeah, it's great to be here.
All right, well, let's get started because we're really sort of a little bit late, and there's a lot of stuff here that I'd like to talk about. We're going to sort of center in on the book called Secrets of the Millionaire Mind. And if this is not something that you have read, then I highly recommend finding it. We'll actually have the PDF link for that for you on a special bonus page that we're going to provide for everybody who's here with us tonight and anybody that comes and visits us through the week while this recording is still up. But this book is by T. Harv Eker. And it really talks about having a millionaire mindset. And one of the first things that I realized as I was reading this book was that I have never allowed myself to think that big. And if you can't imagine something in your mind and somehow make it real for yourself, then there really isn't any way that you're going to have it become a reality in your life. So that's really the first place that you have to start, is you have to start in your mind, and that's one of the things that T. Harv Eker impresses upon us throughout the book, is to think, I have a millionaire mindset. I have a millionaire mindset. You have to tell yourself that, the repetition over and over and over again. And you just have to realize that it all starts in your thoughts. Your thoughts create emotions, and your emotions create action, and that action is what creates the reality in your life. So it has to start within. It has to be an inside-out job. We hear this all the time from our mentors, from the people who have the success that we're seeking. They tell us this over and over and over again. And our immediate response is to say, I already know that. I've heard that before. I want to hear something different. And what I want to challenge you to tonight and every day in your life is to realize that until you have that, until it is who you are, you haven't got it. You have to do it again. You have to keep doing it until it becomes so deep inside of you that it produces the results that you're looking for. So what do you think about that, Chika?
Well, no, Christy, you're so right, because in fact, in the book, Secrets of the Millionaire Mind by T. Harv Eker, he has a quote, and that quote is, becoming rich isn't much about getting the financial reward or becoming rich financially. It's about who you become in character and mind in order to get rich. And the secret that he shares is that the fastest way to get rich and to stay rich is developing you. Okay? So the idea is to grow yourself into a successful person. And again, he says, and this is his quote, that your outer world is merely a reflection of your inner world. So you are the root and your results are the fruit. So this is exactly what you're saying, because we've all probably gone to school, gone to college, spent money on education. More importantly, though, the most important investment that you can ever make is the investment you make in yourself, okay, in your mind, your thoughts, what you project, and that is most important. So yeah, I'm totally with you on that, Christy. There are a few points that, as I go along, I'll also share with you. But yeah, you've nailed it right there, Christy.
Um, Chika, I am just checking with, we have a couple of people here, and I just want to make sure that they're actually seeing the live broadcast.
Let me see. Let me
And
refresh it.
so,
I
um,
I did
if
refresh Facebook. Go ahead.
I'm just typing in the comments, are you seeing the live broadcast? And because if they can't hear us, then they won't know that I'm asking the question, obviously.
Oh, okay, hold on a second.
And so
Let's have a
let
look.
me just put that in there. And because when I refreshed it, all I got was the recording, and that concerns me.
Okay.
So what did you get when you refreshed it?
Yeah, I got the last page. Let me have a look right now. I thought it was because we weren't ready. Yeah, it's still showing the last show we did. Let's see.
So this is a problem.
Yes.
And let me see. Let me see. Let me see. Can you scroll down and see if, because it might just be, for me, it might be needing to clear the cache. Are there any remarks in the comments?
No,
No?
not other than the one I put in. But there's, yeah, I don't see any. I had put in a remark saying they should stand by. We're coming. We'll be live in a few minutes. Let's see.
Oh, see, I don't even see your comment in there.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Yeah, just the one. There's a few people listening. 2 people listening here. Yeah. Let's see. Yeah, it's not. It's still on the last one.
Okay, let me just double check my code.
Okay. And while you do that, do you want me to?
Yeah, why don't you go ahead and continue with some thoughts on the book,
Okay.
and I will see if perhaps the code did not take.
Okay.
Go ahead, Chika.
All right. Yeah. So, continuing on, folks, with the theme of your roots being your fruits. So, one of the big ideas in this book is fruits and roots. Now, the general consensus if a fruit is very good, if it's tasty, then it's come from very good roots. And in the book, T. Harv talks about in every forest and on every farm, in every orchard and on earth, it's what's under the ground that creates what's above the ground. Hence, that thought about fruits and roots. So, placing your attention on the fruits that you have already grown is sort of futile. I mean, it's before you ever plant the seeds. Okay, you have to make sure that your soil is clearly fertile, that you have enough. If you need manure, you tend to it. So you can't really change the fruits that are already hanging on the tree, but you can, however, change tomorrow's fruits. But to do so, you have to dig below the ground and strengthen the roots. Now, that's worth noting because you can't do some of these things after the fact. So it's really about what you put in your mind. What are your thoughts? Are they positive? Are you playing to win? Are you thinking that you cannot instead of that you can? Are you thinking of how you're going to succeed, not if and will you succeed? So it's these positive thoughts that really embody a millionaire mindset, because he goes on and gives example with people like the Donald Trumps, who didn't matter that he was a billionaire and lost all his money, because he has that mindset that he did it before and he will do it again. So that's one of the big ideas in this book by T. Harv Eker. Another one is playing to win. Are you committed? Are you sort of all in? Do you swear and focus that you won't leave this until you succeed? Is it almost like you'll go all in, do everything you can do, or you'll practically die trying? And he shares stories of how his first businesses were just a total failure, and he had to go at it, and he really, until he made up his mind to be totally committed and to stick with it no matter what, then that's when he started seeing success. He talks about a lot of things, including the financial blueprint, because when you talk about the secret, or if you like, the secrets of the millionaire mindset, a lot of it can stem from your upbringing and what the relationships you had with money, especially with your parents. There was one story of a lady who apparently her father passed away in her arms, and she was a nurse. And well, actually, she wasn't a nurse. She learned CPR from being in, I guess, a ladies' team in her school. But she then learned CPR, but was unfortunately unable to save her father, who had passed away. I think he collapsed and had a heart attack because he was arguing with her mother over money. And so because of that, she then went on to become a nurse, but never liked money. So she was always spending money because she had these images of money being a source of her real woe, where her dad passed away. And until she came to T. Harv Eker's seminar, he got this story out of her. And then she then realized that money wasn't bad in itself, but it was just a relationship she had. And the reason why she became a nurse, she was still really tormented by her father passing away in her arms, and she just wanted to save other people. And it wasn't because becoming a nurse was a bad thing or not a noble profession, but it wasn't really what she wanted to do. So what she ended up doing was becoming a financial advisor, so she could help people and give them the benefit of her experience. And she just really evolved from there. She just totally changed her mindset. So some of the relationships that you may have with money could stem from your parents, how they viewed money. You often hear people say money is the root of all evil, or you ask your parents for money when you were young, they're like, well, what do you think we are, the bank? We don't have all this money. And so other people are maybe very stingy, if you like. They want to save every single penny. Sometimes the language you use with money, I'm saving for a rainy day. Guess what? Then it's going to be raining. Why don't you say you're saving for a momentous occasion, or you're saving for something that would be uplifting, instead of something that somewhat embodies a negative connotation, if you like. There's nothing wrong with rain, but when they say rainy day, then maybe your days are going to be rainy. Why don't you say you're saving for a sunny day, for example, or you're saving for that momentous occasion. So this book really gets to the heart of reprogramming your financial blueprint, because everything starts with the mind. If you think that you're not going to have enough money, if you think negative thoughts about money, then you really are going to be attracting just that, if you like, poverty or not enough money. You'll always see it as an issue. What do you think? Are you sorry, I know, Christy, are you?
Yeah, I finally figured out what the problem was. It was anyway. It's the broadcast is live on the website now, and I apologize. It was totally a technology flub on my part.
No
just in my haste. Haste makes waste.
Yes.
Most of our sayings that we have are based in truth, because haste does make waste. It generally, we don't get things done the proper way if we're hasty about it, and so I was being hasty and I didn't get it done right. But just to continue on with your thoughts, Chika, because what you're sharing here is so very true. Absolutely every person on this planet has a financial blueprint. And the basis of it was created when we were children. I know I myself, my memories, as I went through this book and went through the exercises that he has you go through to create this foundation for you to build up from, to create that financial, that rich mindset. I can remember my mother sitting on her bed in her bedroom. The picture is so vivid in my mind. As she was a young woman, and she had all of her bills, you know, spread out around her, and she was paying one bill by using, you know, paying off one credit card by using another credit card,
Mhm.
and just bouncing this debt around.
Mhm.
And I can remember that. And I know that that memory has affected me and my ability to be able to create my success, and coming to terms with that
Mhm.
and working with the affirmations
Mhm.
that are given in this book to start the reprogramming,
Mhm.
to not to bury. You can't just bury something like this. You have to deal with it. You have to bring it
Absolutely.
up and shine the
Mhm.
light on it
Mhm.
and realize what part of it needs to just go away and be
Mhm.
replaced by new thoughts, new ideas, new concepts that you
Mhm.
make your own. And
Mhm.
so that for me was one of the true strengths of reading this book, was having those affirmations to read every day as I read my definite major purpose. You know, you have to
Mhm.
start with the result, the end result in mind. Where do you want to
In
be?
mind. Yeah.
Where are you
Yeah.
going? And you work your way back
Mhm.
to your starting point.
Yeah.
But it's really
Yeah.
important that you are honest with yourself with what your starting point is, because if you
Okay.
start in this mythical space that isn't real because you're not being honest with yourself,
Mhm.
then every step you take is in that mythical realm. You're not dealing in reality, and so you're not creating reality.
Absolutely.
And so that's why it's, you know, why we just keep coming back to this starting point, because you'll never reach that result
Mhm.
unless you start from um, from the real you, from what's, you know, I mean, the hardest thing to do is to really honestly look deep in your heart
Mhm.
and recognize the parts of you that have got to change.
Yeah.
Because if we didn't need to change, we would be where we want to be. You
Absolutely.
know,
Yeah.
that's the reality of it.
Yeah.
So
Yeah. No, that's so true. And he, so many stories. He even spoke about a gentleman who, as he met him, he was sort of sobbing, and he thought to himself, and this is an elder gentleman, in fact, who was, I guess, retirement age, and he didn't realize, he thought everything, because his parents obviously had grown up in the Depression, and went through hard times, and he carried that all through life, and he thought there was something wrong with him, and his thoughts about why he wasn't successful financially. And just coming to T. Harv Eker's seminar, he was able to reprogram, and he realized that it wasn't him, but he was carrying that burden, but he didn't. He just kind of had that idea that that because his parents had struggled, and to look at maybe abundance or having money or being wealthy was not right because of his circumstance. But uh, it's very life changing, and he talks about a lot of things, like even action and inaction. He talks about playing to win. Now, if you think you can or you can't, it's almost like if you're going to embark on any activity, if you start from a place of doubt, if you even have any reservations, that in itself is enough to defeat you. So if you play not to lose, right? You want to play to win. So, and you talked about maybe uh, making adjustments. For example, an analogy that comes to mind is every time a plane or an aircraft, if you like, or a space shuttle takes off, 99% of the time it's off course. So you can't expect to start something and know that it's going to be successful. As you start, you make the adjustments, but you keep improving. That's what's going to come with the affirmations. That's what's going to come with that reprogramming of your mind. That's what's going to come with making sure that you have the right routes Because once you have the right roots, that's where it starts from. Because as that plane takes off, though, even though it's off course, but they have a blueprint, they have a map. The pilot has a flight check plan. They know exactly sort of which flight path they're taking, what altitude they'll be flying. Of course, as they reach a certain altitude, if there's turbulence, right, what do? I don't know if anyone's ever been on a plane and listening to some of the in-flight, the radio communication between the pilot and the towers there. You'll hear sometimes when they're approaching certain turbulence, what they'll do, they'll try either to ascend or they just go above or below just to avoid it, right? So that's exactly what you have to do with your mind, as in, having that affirmation, because every day, maybe if you're faced with some doubt, you say you have that millionaire mindset. You believe that you will be rich, and you'll do those things, continue to program your mind and take those actions. But once you have that rich foundation being the strong roots, then you will produce those strong fruits. So I hope that's kind of made sense. I'm sort of really summarizing from what I've read, and I read this book once, twice before. In fact, I'm reading it for the second time, and here it is. I got it from my library, folks. So, folks, if you say, yeah, I don't have time or I don't have money, you know what? Get yourself a library card. Libraries are free in America, as far as I know. I don't care where you live, which state, which county. I know you have a library, and I'm sure it'll be free for residents, right, Christy? I don't think you have to pay to go to the library, do you?
No, and actually, other people might say, well, I don't have time to go to the library.
Mm-hmm.
Well, we will have, on this page, we will have a link where you can create your own
PDF. There
book.
you go. There you
and that's what I did. I took the PDF
mm-hmm.
and I took it into my local Office Depot, and I had them print it out, and I put it in my own binder.
There you go.
So that I could get it out and read it.
Good
but
for you.
If you don't have money to do that, then you just pull it up on your computer and you read it on your computer.
Yeah. It's
going to be a PDF file that you can read. I read it a chapter at a time.
Mm-hmm.
I did each of the activities as I finished the chapter, and I wrote the affirmations down on postcards. Not postcards.
Like a Post-it note or something?
Index cards.
Oh, index. Yeah, the 3x5.
I wrote them down on an index card.
Oh, nice.
So that I could flip through them.
Mm-hmm.
As I'm after or before or while I'm reading my major definite purpose. Mm-hmm. And it just really, really makes a difference on the whole tone of your day.
Okay.
When you create that positive energy within yourself, that you are creating a vision of a new you. And one of the things that T. Harv Eker says is that training and managing your mind and your thoughts is one of the most valuable skills that you will ever develop, because it will help you to reach any goal that you set for yourself. And so you just have to realize that if you're not growing, you're gonna keep growing till the day you die.
Oh yeah.
And if you aren't growing, then you are dying.
You're dying slowly, yeah.
I mean, it's just like a plant in the ground.
Yeah.
We can see all these analogies throughout life on Earth, and that's because down at the very core of life, it's all the same thing, whether it's a plant, a bird, or human beings. If we're not growing, we're dying.
Oh yeah.
And it's actually a process that we go through continually at the same time. But if you aren't growing, then that means you're going to be dying faster.
Yeah.
Success is a learnable skill.
Oh, it is.
I don't care how many times you failed. They're really, one of our mentors has said, and this is something that has stuck with me so deeply, is that there is no such thing as failure.
No.
It's just an opportunity that's being given to you by life for feedback.
Oh yeah.
It's data for you to be able to use so that you can make that course adjustment that Chika was talking about. When you shoot a rocket to the moon, you take all this data is being fed into the computers, and they use that data to make those course adjustments so that eventually they land on the moon.
Yep.
And it's the same way in our lives. Everything that happens to us, positive or negative, is all data that we take in and use to readjust our course so that we can reach our end result. But we have to know what that end result is, don't we?
Oh yeah.
It can't be something that's just very obscure out here. You know, it can't just be, oh, I want a lot of money, or I want a new house, or, you know, it has to become something that is so real that when you say house in your mind, you've got a picture of what that house looks like.
Yep. Yep.
Okay.
Yep.
And so I just want to encourage you to continue to work on yourself, because that's the fastest way that you're going to get to where you want to go. And just sort of wrap it up here, Chika. I just want to encourage people, whether they've read the book or not, unless you're actively reading it right now, I recommend picking it up and reading it. Especially if you're having any kind of struggles, if you're feeling discouraged, if you're feeling like you want to quit, if you're feeling, you know, sort of drawn towards some other shiny object. One of the most important things that we can do is stay focused.
Yeah.
Okay, because if you're focused on something right now and you quit and move to something else, that is a character flaw. Okay, that is something that you really need to work on. You need to work on completing. And it's okay once you complete something if you say, I didn't really want to do that, you know, and move on. But you've got to complete it. You've got to, you can't get into the start of it and stub your toe on something and say, oh, well, this isn't going to work, and then go on to something else, because that's just something that's going to be repeated over and over and over again, and you'll never, ever reach your end success. And you know, we don't want that. We want to feel complete as human beings. We want to feel that our life has had meaning. That we're leaving something behind as a legacy for our children, for our friends, for, you know, whoever might come across this little plot of life that was Christy Ruffner. That you would know what she stood for. That you would know that her life had meaning, that she felt her life had meaning. And this is something that we all want. And it manifests itself in a lot of different ways. And that because we're individuals, and because each of us want different things for ourselves. And so that's why we have to start where we're at, and we have to walk our own path. But we're here to lift each other up. And that's why I'm here, and I think that's why Chika's here, is for us to lift each other up and share whatever truths that we've come across, and hope that somehow that they will give you some kind of a little light bulb moment, maybe, where you'll recognize that, you know, this is where I need to change, and this is where it can take me, and wow, now I've got direction. So, what do you have to say for closing here, Mr. Chika?
You know, just to wrap it up, but all I will say is that in order for you to be successful, you know, in order for your income to grow, in order for your life to be abundant, first you must grow. Okay. Now, the greatest stock market you can ever invest in, okay, and I said this before, is yourself. And, I don't necessarily mean, yes, education is good. That's formal education. I'm talking about your own personal inner education so that you can manifest this abundant consciousness. So if you invest in yourself, and that's what this book, Secrets of the Millionaire Mind is. If you look at the book, the title, it says Mastering the Inner Game of Wealth, because as he points out, it's by your roots that you'll know the fruits. It's by your inner mind, your consciousness, whatever your thoughts are. You talked about initially your thoughts, leading to the emotions leading to action. Now, if you have negative thoughts, just think about it. If someone's always fearful, oh, I might do this, or this might happen, that might happen, guess what? You become what you think about most of the time, so that probably will happen. But if you master that inner game, if you invest in yourself, if you invest in your mind, if you invest in your thoughts, positive thoughts, feed yourself with positive affirmations daily, and take care of those roots, the root being that mind, that thought, then you can manifest anything that you want to. And that's why self-made millionaires don't worry about the stock market. They don't worry about the economy. They don't worry about the government. They don't care whether the Republicans or Democrats are in power, right? Because they will create their own wealth, right? They're not worrying about the housing crisis. They're not worrying about the weather. They're not worrying about employment. They're not worrying about global warming per se. I mean, obviously, they may be concerned about that as it concerns the atmosphere and mankind, but they're not concerned about it for their own economy. They develop their own personal economy, and the best way to do that is by investing in yourself, investing in your thoughts, and that's exactly what this book does, is reprogramming your financial blueprint. Because once you get that right, not only will you have positive images and positive thoughts and feelings about wealth, but you'll be able to manifest it, and you live a much better, a more fulfilling and enriched life. And that's really what this is all about, And when you do that, you can enrich others. Because think about it, if you want to help poor people, you can't do that by being one of them yourself, right?
Right.
So
That is such a powerful thought right there, Chika, because all of us that are on this journey have run across the person that has said, oh, you just want to be rich.
Mhm.
Oh, you just, all you're about is the money.
Mhm.
And it's unfathomable to me how I could ever help anybody else
Mhm.
if I am stuck being poor, or even just being comfortable.
Mhm.
Even if when I get to the point where I've got all my bills paid,
Mhm.
and I've got a nice house that I live in, and I drive a reliable car, and I can pay for my son's education. Yeah, all right. So I've got all of my worldly needs taken care of.
Mhm.
But then how do I help somebody else?
Yeah.
How do I look at the homeless situation in my city
Mhm.
and make a difference?
Mhm.
How do I help feed the hungry?
Mhm.
How do I help make a difference for children who are in a home because their parents aren't fit to raise them?
Mhm.
You know, how can I help the animal shelters?
Mhm.
And I mean, there's so much that needs help, that needs support, that needs people who care enough to be able to give enough that it makes a difference, and not have it, put them back in the food line,
Exactly.
you know. So money is an attitude, not money, but being rich
Mhm.
is an attitude. It's not the words "be rich."
Mhm.
It's so much more than that. And I think that you said it very well earlier in our broadcast today, where you said being rich is not about the money, it's about who you become.
Mm-hmm.
And you know, if you get rich and you're a jerk, you're going to be a rich jerk.
Jerk, there you go. Yeah.
You know, if you're rich and you have a caring, giving heart, then guess what? You're going to care and give more. You're
Yeah.
going to have that ability
Mm-hmm.
to care and give more.
Yeah.
And there are going to be so many more people that are touched by that.
Mm-hmm.
And so these closed minds, these people with the blinders on,
Mm-hmm.
really they're coming from fear. They are so afraid. And if they could step out of that fear and realize how much more they could be
Mm-hmm.
as a human being,
Mm-hmm.
you know, the world would be so much different.
Yeah.
So it's time to wrap it up, Chika. I apologize to our audience this week for our late start and for the confusion with the website. The good thing is that the recording, now that the recording is up, we can go back and you can pick up on anything that you might have missed.
Mm-hmm.
And I can assure everybody that eventually this whole process will smooth out and it will become very standardized, and I'll have all the technology issues figured out, and you know, the timing on it and everything, and it actually won't take very long to do that. I have a feeling that next week will go much smoother.
Mm-hmm.
And be much more prepared as far as the technology end of it. Chika, I want to thank you very much for your input tonight,
You're
your
welcome.
wisdom and knowledge that you shared.
Well,
I
thank you,
hope that
Sue.
everybody really takes it to heart, because even though you may have heard this information before, you're here for a reason, number one. Number two, if you haven't achieved the results that you're looking for yet, then depending on how long you've been working at it, you may need to go back and rework that foundation so that you're sure to end up where you want to end up.
Mm-hmm.
Because I think that when we're honest with ourselves, we know when we're on the right track.
Mm-hmm.
And so, and I don't think that there's anything ever wrong with continuing to refine and re-envision our goals. I know that personally, every time I do this, more minute details fall into place. I start
Mm-hmm.
seeing it clearer and
Mm-hmm.
clearer. I start feeling the feelings. I start smelling the smells, hearing the sounds. I start paying attention to my surroundings so that I can be in touch with that part of it in my end goal. And the more precise that you get, the more likely it is that you'll receive the result that you're looking for. As a matter of fact, you'll be amazed at how the end result looks exactly like you envisioned it.
Mm-hmm.
You know, and it's all just coming out of your imagination, out of your heart, out of
Yeah.
your soul.
Yeah.
And so I just want to encourage you, just keep going over it, keep going over it, keep coming back to this stuff.
Mm-hmm.
And it's like I don't know, it's like a boomerang, you know, you throw it out and it comes back. You
Yeah.
throw it out and it comes back, and every
Mm-hmm.
time you throw it, it comes back a little changed, a little different, a little more real. And that's the process. And really that's part of what really makes it fun. Because the first time that I did this, like I said, I had no idea how narrow my imagination was.
Mm-hmm.
I couldn't even fathom being a millionaire. That thought had never ever occurred to me, ever in my life had it occurred to me to be a millionaire. And part of that was because of my financial blueprint. Okay? But every time I go through it, that part of it gets bigger and more real and more attainable inside. I mean, I can say it, but do I feel it? Do I believe it? Yeah. Okay. So just want to encourage you, you know, don't tell your, who was it? Somebody said the most, I don't know if it's this destructive, but some of the worst words that you can say to yourself is, I know that.
Yeah.
You know, and especially when you continue to hear the same message from the leaders, from the millionaires out there, from the wealthy, and they keep taking you back to this place. Why do they do that? You know, it's because it's necessary. That is where you have got to start. So with that being said, Chika, it's time to close this out. I want to thank everybody for being here, and we will be putting the word out on what our topic will be for next week. If anybody has anything specific that they'd like to discuss, I'd like to invite you to either you know, put it down in the comments on the page here, or you can email us. You can contact us on Facebook. We're very, very reachable. And just let us know, you know, if there's something particular that you're struggling with, or, you know, something that you think would benefit you or your team. Let us know. Otherwise, we're basically going to be proceeding through this process, just sort of taking logical steps, growing towards the millionaire mindset, the wealthy mindset. And, you know, reaching your end goals. So with that, Chika, thank you.
Thank you. Thanks a lot, Christy. Bye, folks. We'll see you next week. Same time.
Yep. Bye-bye.
All right.